Okay. So I got into this AWS console, okay, by using it just automatically locked me into it because I already logged into that stuff. If you look at it, I did not use a root account. I use an account that was created by an IAM engineer or the admin. So I was given some privileges so that I can manage this console. So for example, an IAM engineer created that stuff. He created me as an IAM user in the system. That's what best practice. That's how usually companies will usually do. They have given me the access. I've logged into the company account using my name that I was added onto. So what I'm about to do here, I was given a task to create a Bastion host, to create a jump saver so that they can now add users onto it. Through that Bastion host, they can get to backend instances because backend instances are not internet facing. So let's kickstart. I think all of us on this call, we know how to do this stuff. So I'll go to EC2. I want to buy a computer from AWS. So they call it Elastic Compute Cloud, which is EC2. Okay. I'm passing my API call. I want my computer to be located in United States, Ohio. That should be US is 2. That's where I want my computer to be located. Okay. So let me launch. I want to launch a computer. I want to launch a Bastion host computer. Okay. I'll pass a name to it. So I'll just call it Bastion host. Okay. So my operating system, my Amazon machine image, I will use Amazon Linux 2. This stuff 2023 has a lot of updates. But then Linux 2. Okay. I don't have much work to do. Instance type is the capacity of the computer that you are trying to buy. So you pass out, you give your own capacity. I just want 1 GB of memory computer. I don't have much work to do. So, but then for you to connect to this stuff, you need a username, a public IP address, and a password, right? We are cutting a lot of stuff short when it comes to this stuff. As I was supposed to create a VPC. I believe all of us can create a VPC. I was supposed to create a VPC, and we launched our Bastion host in that VPC. So that's how it was supposed to happen. We launched our Bastion host in the VPC. All our instances will be secured in our virtual private cloud. The company owns the virtual private cloud. Okay. So, but then for the sake of this demo, I will use the default. It's the same strategy, but in the real world, they don't use default VPCs. The company will create their own VPC. So for you to connect to a computer in the cloud, you need a name, you need a username, you need a public IP address, and you need a password. Password has been duplicated, okay? By default, when AWS is providing to me this computer, it gives to me a default user as EC2 user, and I have my computer ID here. So I already know that I have a user, okay? Password has been duplicated. I need a key. I need a key pair. I can create key pair. If you have created one on this drop down, you can find it. So we'll be creating a key. So I will call it let me just call it Bastion key. So it's a .pen key. Okay, I'll be using some SSH client to connect to this stuff. I will not use PuTTY. If I was supposed to use PuTTY as an SSH client, I will go by PPK. So my key is Bastion host key, so it will end with an extension of .pen. When you create this key, it downloads into the download of your computer. So I have my key here and it has been downloaded into my computer. Okay, network setting. So for network setting, I'm allowing it as default for the Bastion host. So by default, I'm placing this stuff in a public subnet, and I want to enable public. I want to auto assign public IP address. I'm enabling public IP address. So in real company, guys, because of sometimes most costs, we don't deploy everything, but we have what is known as the elastic IP of AWS. So companies, they will use an elastic IP. An elastic IP is a public IP address that you buy from AWS. When you buy that public IP address, you can now attach it to your instance while creating it. It will be internet facing. Reason being that when you launch an instance with a public IP address that is being provided to you by AWS, when you stop that instance, AWS gives that stuff back to another user, another buyer. Okay, for you to maintain your own, just your own, you have to buy it. And in AWS, it is known as elastic IP address. So I'm enabling, I just want AWS to give me one. I don't want to buy for now. I'm enabling public IP address because I needed to connect to this instance. And there is a door, security purpose. Okay, the security aspect of it, before you get into that house, you must pass through a door. So we have firewall, which is a security group. So this stuff will allow traffic either in and out of the instance that or your computer that you are buying from AWS. For you to connect, for you to go into that instance, there is a particular door known as that we call it port. Okay, we call it port. So it has been given some numbers. Port 22 by default is the port that allows you to go to connect to SSH into your computer. So that's the only door that I'm opening to that stuff. I'm allowing port 22, which is an SSH traffic from anywhere. Okay, because engineers around the globe, they'll be connecting to the Bastion host, and now they can get to their various work environment. That's the back-end instances. Okay, I will not configure storage. 8 GB is okay by me, so I don't have anything to do with this. I will launch this instance. So I'll launch this instance. This is a Bastion host instance. Okay, this instance is up, but while the instance is initializing, let me quickly launch one instance, okay, at the back end for this demo. So I want to call it Maven. Okay, it's my Maven build environment, my Maven server. I want to launch it at back end. I'm using Amazon Linux too. I need just 1 GB, 1 CPU, 2 micro, 1 CPU, 1 GB is okay for this. The key pair, I've created Bastion key. Okay, now we don't want to, this is our build environment. We don't want to expose the build environment to hackers. We want to secure it. This is your responsibility when it comes to AWS. Now I want to place this stuff in my company VPC. So if we have a VPC, you click on this drop down and you select the company VPC. With the company VPC, you have public and private subnets. So by default, when it is no preference and it does not come with the IP address, AWS places this stuff automatically at the public, at the private subnet. So I want to disable public IP address to this build server. Okay, so SSH port is okay because I will pass through the Bastion host and SSH into that backend server. So that is the only port that will be allowed, the SSH port. So I'm allowing that port from anywhere. Let me launch the instance. Okay. Why this instance is coming up? if you have an SSH client, for example, if you have Git Bash, you have mobile extend, okay, because instance correct will not work here. Now, what are we trying to do? Let me connect to this, to our Bastion host. Let me refresh. It's the initializing, but then let me pick up the public IP address. Yes, I want to connect to this stuff. If we check very well, if we go back to instances and check very well, okay, our Maven build server is also coming up. Let's initialize. We have our Bastion host. I have a public IP address. I pick up the public IP address. Don't forget, for you to connect to this stuff, you need a public IP address, a username, and a password, which is a private key. Okay, I'm using mobile extend as an SSH client to SSH into that computer. I want to connect to the computer. So remote host is your public IP address. I need a username. The username is EC2 user. That's my default username. I need a password, but I don't have a password. Did I create a key? Yes, we created a key. So you click on use private key. I want to locate that key in my computer. So I have something like a Bastion key.pem. This is it here. Open. So I'm trying to connect to the computer that I required or I bought from AWS. So let's just give it some time for it to connect. Oh, sorry, time's out. This could be a network issue. Let me relog again. Bastion host, public IP address. EC2 user. We have the key, Bastion key.pem. Wow. So let's try connecting. Let's try to see if network issue. What's the problem? Okay, guys. So there's a problem establishing that connection. Let me check my security. First thing first. SSH, are you there? Yes. Yeah. The user metadata. Metadata. Public IP address. There should be network downtime. Let's try connecting again. Yes. Oh, wow, wow, wow. This is- Oh, Eric, there was a warning on this region. Did you go to that warning? Let me see. Guys, these days,
You can
as I
check.
earlier said, AWS
Yeah,
has
I
been
mean,
having a lot of, yeah.
yeah, this kind of things they usually happen. Sometimes you do it just now, it works. The next 2 minutes you're trying, it doesn't work.
Yeah, the problem is AWS is having a lot of updates. When I got into this United States Ohio region, it gave me a warning, but I did not go through that one. So let me change this region, guys. I'll quickly launch different stuff. Sometimes they have network downtime also. That's a network issue. So let's try North Virginia.
Should we just excuse me, should we just follow up with our own AWS account, or you need to like give us an IAM role so that we can also
No,
do
you don't
it?
have to. The only thing you have to do, the only thing you will do is I'll add you as a user in the system and you can connect to that instance, right?
Okay.
So you are now like an engineer that has been employed. Everybody on this call is, yeah, you guys are now like engineers that have been employed to a company. We are trying to create a
Okay.
pathway for you to pass and get into your backend instances.
Okay.
Yes.
There's
So
no
let
need,
me.
there's no need doing it on your end. Just watch. When he's adding you as a user, you'll be able to then log in. So just watch now.
Yes.
Sure.
Let me use this region Bastion first. Sometimes. Um, to micro. So let me use an existing key. I think we have created a key, but let me just use an existing key here. Enable public IP address is okay. Let me launch this instance. Hopefully this way it should connect as do not have any warning message on that. Okay. Let's try connecting to this stuff. Complete you. Session. Is it to user? Okay. I think this time around is demo. Select key.pem. Yes, I want to connect. Okay, guys, that region had a problem. So that's it. Sometimes you have issues like that. Yeah. So let me quickly name this instance. Let me rename this instance. Let me give you the name. Let me call it Bastion host. Okay. So sudo host name ctl host name ctl seg hyphen host name. I'm calling it Bastion host. Let me effect the changes /bin/bash. So we have our Bastion host. So So since we are connected to our Bastion host, let's launch an instance now at the back end. An instance, if you look here, we have a public, this instance has a public IP address. So let me quickly launch an instance here without the public IP address. Let me call it our Maven build instance. Amazon Linux 2 is the AMI. You can use Ubuntu, you can use Red Hat, guys. Just with Ubuntu, or Mac OS, and Windows, the package manager will change a bit. Okay, but Red Hat and Amazon with Debian Linux, they have the same package. So let me select this key, exit network setting. So I don't want this stuff to be placed. I don't want it to be internet facing or SSH into it. It's okay. Let me connect. Okay. So if you look at it, our backend instance does not have a public IP address, so you cannot connect to this instance, to this computer through the internet. You cannot connect to this stuff through the internet. So let us see how we can configure our Bastion host instance, our Bastion host server for password authentication, because I will not copy the private key to all the engineers' work environment. Okay, I will not send the private key to you. So, but then for you to connect now to the company, you need a username, which is your name, and you need a password. But then for this stuff, for you to access or to connect to this Bastion host server with relative ease, there is some configuration that need to be done on it. The first thing that we are going to do on it, we first of all have to authenticate the server for password authentication. We have to allow, because by default, it is duplicated. So we have to go and allow that door so that you can use your name and password as a user in the system to get into this system. Okay, so for us to do that, there is a file. We have to do some editing. We have to go into some files and do some editing. So let me quickly get into one of the files. The files, let me sudo vi, so vi is text editor, into /etc/ssh/sshd underscore config. So this is a configuration file where you will find the authentication part of it, where you can authenticate users. You can allow the server for password in such a way that users can now use their name and password to log into this stuff. So this is the file. Let me go into edit mode by pressing the I on my keyboard. So I'll search for password authentication. If you see here, password authentication by default is no. So I want engineers to connect to this server. Okay, for that to happen, I will edit this stuff. I want it to be yes. So people can use password, engineers can use password to connect to this instance. Okay, they can use password to connect to this instance. Equally, I can also edit permit empty key password, but I'll not do that. So let me save and I keep out of this. Whenever you edit this file, there is a single line command where you can run on the command line to do that stuff. But whenever you edit this file, you have to restart the SSHD service so that the changes will be reinforced. So you have to run the command sudo systemctl. You have to restart the SSHD service. So that has been done. We have done the first configuration. Now, what the admin will do or if it is your task as a DevOps engineer, okay, to add users to the system. More often, most companies that have system administrator, Linux system administrator, that one doing this stuff. This is a Linux system administrator job, that one doing this stuff. But as a DevOps engineer, you are a system admin. As a site reliability engineer, you are a system admin. As a build and release engineer, you are a system admin. As a AWS solution architect, you are a system admin. Before, system admin used to have a lot of job out there because they were the ones spinning instances for companies. But nowadays, every cloud engineer can spin instances. That's why the system admin role is becoming a little bit difficult when it comes to job positions. Okay, so we have configured our server for password authentication. The next thing, let us add some users. If you have an SSH client that you can connect to an instance as an engineer, please kindly send your name to me in the chat so that I will add you as a user in this system. If you have an SSH client, so with that, I will start by adding Prof. Eric. I will start by adding Prof. Eric into the system as an AWS DevOps engineer. Okay, Sam, I'll add Prof. Eric. Let me sudo vi. I want to vi into the user.sh. User.sh. I'm doing some sort of bash shell script here, guys. Don't pick out. So for best practices, let me go into insert mode. Okay, I got the names. For best practice, let me start this stuff with the shebang /bin/bash. So what I'm saying here is I want to use a script, a dynamic bash shell script to do this stuff. Echo enter let me just say the username, so I use the read command to read the user. So now I want to create account for that user. So the command to create account for users in Linux is the user add command, but then you cannot just create accounts for users like that as an ordinary user. So we have sudo user add. I want to call the variable that I'll pass. So it is $user. Only I want to create password for that user. So sudo, the command is pass wg, okay, $user. Good to go. This automation. Dynamic script. So Prof. Eric, I did this stuff as a root user. Okay, all the same. Let me SSH. I want to run this script. So VI is not supposed to be there. Okay. Unexpected token line 2. VI back into that stuff. I did not close.
There's a code there. You didn't close it.
I did not close it.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. So I want to add Eric in the system admin 123. Admin 123 is the password that I'm assigning to engineer Eric. So let me cut /etc /wg, the file where when you add users, engineers to the system, their information is stored. So I have Eric as a user in the system. Equally, I created a password for Eric. Let me check if that was sudo cat /etc/shadow. Oh no, it should be slash, not dot. Shadow. So now the stuff. So guys, oh, sorry about the interruption. So we can see that a password was assigned to Eric. Okay, a couple of you guys have sent to me your names. So let me add you. I created a dynamic script. Okay, so for Sam, I'm running the same script. Sudo sh, the name that I want is Sam. The password is Sam123. Oh, Sam123. So Sam, your password is Sam123. Okay, your password is Sam123.
And that should be all lowercase, Sam. To be specific, right?
Sorry.
Sam should be all lowercase.
Yes, your password is Sam123. I'm coming to that. Let me just add all the users in the system and then we move. We have Luisa. Let me rerun the script to add Luisa. We have Luisa, the password for Luisa. Let me just Luisa 123. Luisa 123. So Luisa, your password is Luisa 123. I have Aqua. So Aqua. I have Aqua. And the password is Aqua 123. Aqua 123. So Aqua, that's your password. I have Charles. Okay. Let me rerun the script. So I have Charles. Charles. So Charles, your password is your password should be Charles 123. Charles 123. So that's the password. We have Daffrey. Let me add Daffrey in the system. Yeah, you have the name. So let me assign you Daffrey 123. free 1, 2, 3. Okay, so these are the users. Guys, all the names are lowercase letters, so don't start it with uppercase letter. We have assigned, we have some users in the system. So let me really clear my terminal for you guys. I want to ls/home and see if all the users were created. Yes, I have Aqua, Charles, Eric, Louisa, Sam, and Tafric. So these are your names. And I've assigned password to you guys. So if I sudo, let me sudo, I want to read that file. I want to read /etc shadow. The file that when we create you password for you, that the password are stored. So we have all of your password created. Yeah. So now, if you have your mobile, let me send to you the public IP address of my Bastion host. Call if config.me. This is the public IP address of my Bastion host. So I'm sending that stuff in the chat. So you connect, all of you try connecting to this instance. You will use the public IP address, so you SSH. The command that you will run, for example, if I am Eric, I could just run SSH. Okay, I will run SSH Eric at this public IP address. So that's how you connect. When you hit on enter, it will ask you to enter your password. When you enter your password, you will connect to this Bastion host. So then we watch a particular command here. Let me watch the who command. So Eric is connected already. Eric has successfully connected. Aqua has successfully connected. So guys, you should be connecting. Okay. I just ran a command watch who. So I'm watching who is connecting to the Bastion host. Let's connect, guys. As you are connecting, I'm seeing you. I see how you join.
Guys, in case you are facing any challenge, just don't allow us go without notifying.
Thank you very much, Prof. If let me see, I have Tafri, Charles, Louisa, Sam. If you guys are connecting, just put a 1 in the chat. Let me know that you guys are trying to do something, please. If you guys are struggling to connect, just put a 1 in the chat.
Yeah.
Let me know that you are doing some work. Okay. Chat is having some issues. Okay, chat. Look at my screen. Let me press later. Control C to key this process. So, Charles, what you do if you have Git bash, you have mobile xterm. With mobile xterm, those of you who don't know, if you have mobile xterm, you click on session here, you click here, and then you enter your name, Charles. I said do not use uppercase letters. So you enter your name, Charles. Okay, no, sorry. You enter my public IP address. I think I pasted. This is my public IP address. And then here, you enter your name, Charles, because you are not Charles who is trying to connect to this stuff. So when you enter chars, you click on enter. Okay, it will try connecting, but it will ask you of your password. So you see now, it's asking me of your password. So it asks of your password. Now your password is chars123. If you enter chars123, when you enter, you don't see the password, enter, it is not struggling to connect you to the Bastion host. Do you want to save this password? Yes, you can. Yes. Okay. Cancel, I don't need this stuff. So it's struggling to connect you. Are you seeing? So you are connected now as Charles. Okay, this is Charles. Charles is connected. If I now come back to my instance, if I watch who, I will see that Charles is connected to the instance. Charles has been connected. And this is the time that you connect to this stuff. Okay, I can equally see if all of you, we have Eric, Aqua, Sam, Charles, you guys are connected. I can equally check if you are doing some work or not. Yeah, so let me, if you want to do that at your end, let me get out of this stuff. Okay, I can see that Taffy is now connected. Okay, good. Taffy is now connected. So everybody is connected. Now that you are connected to this instance, this is the only instance, this is the pathway that we usually pass to get to our backend instances. Our backend instance does not have a public IP address. So look at what the admin will do. The admin will go to his or her work environment. I will use Git bash for this purpose. So there are so many ways to do this stuff. So he will go to his or her work computer. Okay. So this is what they do. So see the intro. Let me see the. I want to go into download because the key, I was the one who created that key and it got downloaded into my work computer, the download of my work computer. I need that key. Engineers need that key to connect to back-end instances. They are now in the Bastion host. So what I'll do here, I'll pick up my public IP address of my Bastion host. Okay, so I have my Bastion host running. This is my Bastion host. Let me get back to Git bash. I want to copy the key that was downloaded. That key is, I think it was demoserverkey.pem. Let me see the key that we are using. Yes, demoserverkey.pem. So I want to copy this key to the Bastion host so that engineers can use it and connect to all the backend instances. This is serious security. Nobody can get into any backend instance without having that key. Without, they don't have public IP, you don't have to have the private IP address and that key. So I will run a secure copy command, securely copy in interactive mode. So I say, I want to authenticate myself with the key that I have. So the key is demoserverkey.pem. Okay, it's demoserverkey.pem. But before I run this stuff, let me pick up my relative path. So PWG, where am I working? So I'm working here. I can call back this command and I remove the comment sign. So I want to authenticate myself with this key. Okay. And I want to copy from this path. From this path. Copy. Paste. There is a demo -saver key.pem. I want to copy this key. Who am I? I am EC2 user. I want to copy this key to this IP address, to this public IP address. I want to copy this key to this IP address. Okay. I want to copy it. I want to copy it in the home. Let it go in the home/home/EC2 user. Enter. Yes, I want to copy that key. Enter. So it has copied the key. This is the job of the admin. I've just copied the key from my workstation to the server in the cloud. Because when I created this stuff as the admin or a task that was given to me, the key is in my private download in my workstation. But other engineers around the globe, all over the world, from US, India, Angola, Nigeria, Cameroon, they want to use this key. How do I pass this key to them? I have just successfully copied the key from my download to our server. If I now come back in our server, this is our Bastion host server. I did not create any file. So I did not create any file. Let me check if I copy the key. The key is demoserverkey.pem, list directories and files. I have a demoserverkey.pem that I have successfully copied from my work environment to the server. Now, engineers need to start using this stuff to connect to back-end instances. Can they use it? Yes. So I said most of the time this was a system admin rule. You have to pass this key. It is a credential that the user needs, the engineer needs to get to the work environment at the back end. So you have to pass this key to the environment. Okay, I can pass this key, I can copy this key. So I will still run another copy command. So I will copy this key. So not for me to fall into issues, I like to pass sudo. I will copy this key. So where am I copying this key from? I have a demo server key in my work environment. I have a demo server key in my work environment as the admin. I have a user, I have an engineer in the system, Eric, and Eric needs to go at the back end instances to do some work. So I want to copy this key to the home of Eric so that Eric can use this key and log to back end instances. So I will say I want to copy this key to the home of Eric. To the home of Eric. Enter. So it has been done. If Eric, because right now I cannot, if I ls, I cannot go to Eric environment and start like checking files and stuff there. If I'm doing that now, I'm doing that because I am EC2 user and I have the permission, I have the super privilege to do that stuff. So I can check, I can sudo. When I pass sudo, it's because I want to run the command as a root user. ls, I want to check the home of Eric if that file was copied with relative ease. So sorry, it should be Eric. Enter. Yes. So Prof. Eric, can you check at the end and confirm? Because I can see that I did a good job.
Okay.
Right? Okay. Those of you who are connected, let me ls/home ls/home. This is the command. So copy to the home of Eric. I can copy to the home of, let me copy to the home of Aqua check, you will see. Let me copy to the home of Louisa. Louisa, if you check, you'll see. Let me copy to the home of Sam. Sam, if you check, you'll see. And let me copy to the home of Daphne. So take all in Daphne. If you check, if you do ls, you'll see that key. Since all of us now have that key, can we connect? All of you are in this host. All of us are connected here. Let me run the W command. So all of us are connected, but so far so good. I think I'm the only one doing something. All of you have been idle. Okay, so Daffy just did something 2 seconds ago. So he checked, he run the bash command ls.
Yeah.
So in the system, when you are idle, guys, this is where the CEO will just run this command and see if you are doing something, we are not working. So all of us are connected. Now, we are in the Bastion host. We need to connect to our backend instances. I will be doing it as EC2 user, and you guys will be doing it at your own end. So we run a command. We want to copy, want to SSH in interactive mode -I. Okay, you pass the key that is in your download, the demo server key. And who are you? Okay, you are EC2 user. Somebody's saying something here.
Okay, I think Deborah,
I don't know if I added you to the system. What was the name that you provide for me to add in the system?
She didn't provide any name yet.
Yes,
She didn't
Prof,
provide any name.
Under that, I don't know if there was a name that Dora, I don't know, I did not add you to the system, so you give your name that you wish for me to add you to that system so you can connect to this system. So you run SSH. So quickly send the name to me. Okay, you are trying to connect to mobile via mobile XTEM. Can you unmute yourself, please? Let me get to know before we continue.
Hello, hello.
Yes, I can get you, please.
Yeah, I'm trying to connect via mobile XM and it's requesting that I input password.
Among the names that I have here, do you have your name here?
No.
Okay, if you are not a user in this system, you cannot connect to this system.
Oh, I see.
For example, if you are not working with a company, you cannot sit at home and connect to that company's account, right?
Yes.
With that company server. Yeah, so you cannot connect to this company server. I was supposed to add you. I asked that everybody that wants to do the hands-on should. Okay, let me quickly add you as a user, but you have a long way to go right now. You do that very fast. So I will add you as a user. Let me run this script. I have let's do as stated as sudo sh user.sh. So I will just add Dora. Okay, so that is you. Your username is Dora, and your password will be Dora.
Okay.
Just Dora 123. Dora 123. So that's your password.
All right.
If you have the IP address, you can connect now to the Bastion host. Okay. So now I was trying to illustrate how You will now connect from the Bastion host to your backend instances. Let me send to you the private IP address of the backend instance. Because that instance does not have a public IP address. This is our Maven build environment. Nobody should come in here and start seeing things that we are doing. You alone have that right, and nobody can ever come to this stuff without what we are doing. So let me share this public IP address based, sorry, private. We have the private IP address of our Bastion host, of our backend server, our Maven build server. We want to use the Bastion host to connect to that stuff. So we run the command SSH -I in interactive mode. You authenticate yourself with the key. Okay, so I want to authenticate myself with this key. Okay, and who are you? I am EC2. I am EC2 user. I am EC2 user, and the IP, and this is my private IP. I want to connect. I want to SSH to this instance that has this private IP address. I want to connect SSH, and I'm authenticating myself with this key to this. Okay, so this is Bastion host. When we connect to this stuff, you know, we'll find Bastion host. Enter. Yes, I want to connect. Enter. Permission denied. So, permission denied. Okay, for sure. Permission is denied. So, when you get an error message, you make sure you go through the error message, because as an engineer, you will always face problems, but you are there to fix the problem that other engineers face and your own problems. So we have a message. It is telling me that permission 0444 for demo server key are too open. My key is so open, so hackers can easily hack my key and come into my instance. It's asking me to secure that key. Let it not be publicly viewable. So the key has read access across the key. 444044 means everybody can read that key, which is not good. So it is asking me to secure that key. How do I secure this key? For me to secure this key, let me clear my terminal for you guys. For me to secure this key, I will run the command. So I will run the command sudo show mode 400. Sudo show mode 400. I want to secure this key so that it should not become usable. What I have just done, I have changed the permission. Only the owner of this key, only the owner of this key can read the key. Nobody in this system or this company can read that key. So enter. That has been done. Let me try to connect to that instance. Okay. Let me try to SSH into the backend instance, our backend, our build environment. Enter. So as we can see, I am now connected to the backend server. I am connected to the backend server. This is the private IP address. I've used the private IP address through the jump server to connect to the backend server. I can now deploy my application in this backend server. But now, if we deploy application right now in this, I said AWS is doing some sort of update. If we deploy an application in this server right now, we need to, if it doesn't work, it's because some packages, they are not being downloaded. So in this backend server, let me just try to see if it works. That's not been working. There's a lot of update. Sudo yum install. Docker. I want to ignore Linux case sensitivity. So you see that there is an update. AWS is updating packages. So these instances, they have a latency issue. It is telling me Amazon Rose 2023 repository. So you just keep on doing like this, you will not download this package. So that's why we could not deploy our application today using Ansible and Docker, all the instances on AWS. So I tried even Ubuntu, Red Hat, everything is like this. So they are working on it. And let me Control C. I've keyed the process. Okay. So we have seen that. We have seen how in real life engineers usually connect, okay, to the work environment when it comes to companies. Other companies might have a different system where they'll use a different application, but then when you are using that application, you log onto the work computer, the company's work computer, and you are working inside. So they have their documentation, everything. If you want to edit, you don't work, your workstation is there just to permit you come into that system and then you work there. But if it's a company, it's a very broad company, a big company, okay, they will have Bastion host because they have a lot of engineers. So you pass through the Bastion host to go to the back end instances. Now, I'm in the back end instance.
What are you saying? What are you saying? Why are you rushing? You don't even know I'm listening to you. You have headphones in my head. You are talking on it. What are you saying?
So
You call my attention.
of this stuff. So for me to go back to our Bastion host after I'm done working, okay, after I'm done doing the task that was given to me at the back end, I just exit and I'll come back to Bastion host.
You guys will be banned on that laptop.
Maybe I've told you, maybe I'm resuming next week now. No more phone, no laptop. Today is like, tomorrow is the last day. Until Monday.
Yes,
Someone has a question.
guys, those who are on this back end, I'm sending a private IP address in the chat. So you can connect to this back end instance because you are already in the Bastion host. If you use the key, if you run the same command, SSH, you run the same SSH command, you pass the key, okay, EC2 user at that host will connect to that instance. Okay, usually there's a lot of configuration. Let me go inside. So if you don't connect to that instance, don't figure, I know why. The reason is that in this instance, everything that I did configuring, adding all of you as users in the Bastion host and assigning password for you, I'm supposed to do the same thing in this instance. So let me select yes. So
I was able to connect to the instance.
Okay, you were able to connect, right?
I was able to connect.
So did you use EC2 user or did you use EC2 or use Aqua here?
No, I use EC2 because you said you have not given us the, so I use EC2.
Yes. If you use EC2, you will connect.
If I use Aqua, I did not.
Okay. If you use EC2, you will connect. Because that key is owned by EC2. So what I'm supposed to do to you, Sammy, I'm supposed to, let me exit. So if you want to connect as Sammy, what I'm supposed to do to you, if I ls, let me sudo and come to you. I want to check the file that I ls lrs, the home of Sammy, /home/sam. So you will see that that key is owned by the root user. If you are trying to connect to that stuff as Sam, it will not work. But if I assign you permission, if I convert this key, so if I change this key, I grant you permission to own this key in real life, I'm supposed to grant you permission to own this key. So I will say sudo show mode. Sudo show mode. I want to change the mode. I want to change owner, not mode. Sudo show own. I want to change owner of a particular file to Sam, and Sam equally is the book owner of that file. And the file is in the home of Sam. In the home of Sam, there is a demo server key.tem there. I want to change slash this key. So I want to change the permission. I want to change the ownership of this stuff to Sam. Enter. So that has been done. If I now, there's a lot of redundancy network issue. So if I check Sam, you see now that Sam as a user, you own this stuff. So if I add you now as a user if I add you as a user, okay, let me connect to the backend instance. This is a project, so we do it to completion. Sam is working with me. So I want to connect to my backend instance. Now in the backend instance, what I will do is I want to add Sam as a user in the build environment because Sam is coming there to do some work. So after adding Sam, I want to assign password to Sam. So I want to assign password to Sam. So the password that I assigned was Sam123. Sam123. So Sam, if you run this command on your terminal, SSH-I demo server key.pem. The network's a little bit. So demo server key.pem. Now you are Sam and you want to connect to this, you are Sam and you want to connect to this address, you'll be able to connect to that backend instance. So definitely this is exactly what companies will do. This is exactly how you create the Bastion tools. You add users, engineers. Okay, if you are given a task to allow a particular engineer to go to a particular backend server to do some work, this is how you assign it. And that engineer through the Bastion tools can successfully connect to that server and accomplish the task and then go out of the server. Okay, so while Sam is struggling to connect, Prof. Eric, I think we can take some questions.
All right, great, guys. I want to know how was it, guys? Let me get your feedback before we get to the questions. Just share experience. How do you see it? In case anyone is speaking, know that you're muted. Just unmute yourself. just share experience. Let me know if you got the whole idea. Or let us know. Okay, Tafria, yeah. Say it was fun.
Connect also as easy to use and very correct. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Oh, Deborah says she feels
so
lost.
if you try connecting all of
Okay.
you,
All right. So
since I am in that instance, yeah, Prof. Eric, you can go ahead, please. I just want to watch how the engineers are connecting to the Bastion host.
Great. All right. So Deborah says she feels lost. Deborah, don't worry. This is just the first part of the project, right? So just stay around. The second part of it is coming up in the next few weeks. Okay. So we are going to carry you all along, and you will not be lost. You'll be found. Okay. Yeah, it's just quite easy. And when we start the second part of it, we'll have a recap of this first session so that you can catch up. Okay. Yeah. Great. Yes, Aqua. Yeah, hands-on is good. Okay. Awesome.
So let's get the feedback coming from Eric. Yes. I love the feedback. And guys, don't leave the call. Prof. Eric, we did not take a photograph of all the engineers that attended.
Exactly. Let's get our team members, right? These are our colleagues. I mean, you are just there as the admin, and then you're working together on the project. Yeah, you see that you did not create any instance, so you are working with the company server. So that's how you don't create the instance, you just work in it. So we successfully connected to that stuff, and we have been working in it. So let me get the feedbacks coming.